First round finale from Pensacola State College at Hartzell Arena. It's Little Rock and App State in this 4-5 matchup as we welcome you back one final time from Pensacola. Matt Schumacher, Ben Brust with you. Here's what's on tap the rest of the night. UTA taking on Troy. The winner will get Coastal Carolina tomorrow. Our winner will get the regular season champ Texas State Bobcats tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern. Ben, as we take a look at this matchup, what are you watching for tonight between App State and Little Rock?
Well, the Mountaineers lead the conference in turnover margin, meaning they take care of the ball and they force turnovers. And then we got another one, another double-double machine. Root Manyang is all over the place. Keep an eye on number 44 for Little Rock.
And he wins the opening tip for Little Rock and a clock malfunction. Shot clock malfunction. We will get it out of bounds.
Quick math would tell me if you're 3 seconds into the game, it shouldn't be 2 seconds off of the shot clock. But we're good.
Our officiating crew, Orlandis Poole, Rob Rourke, Gerald Williams. Little Rock in the all-red unis, App State in the white, and here we go. Here is Root Manyang, a double-double machine. Sets the screen, first shot off the mark. Bodies on the deck and numbers the other way for Appalachian State.
Really nice drive by Ben Coupette Jr. He averages about 10 points a game, Matt. And when we talked to Coach, he talked about how if he's going to make a run, and they think they have the capability, the talent to win 4 games in this tournament, Ben Coupette has to average around 12 to 15 points in this tournament.
Well, this is a Little Rock team who had that magical season last year, an 11-win improvement to win the regular season crown when they were picked 10th.
He's open.
And there is Root Manyang underneath his first points, 4-0 Little Rock.
And Little Rock bringing the energy right now. App State had a transition opportunity, but you'll see the length that Little Rock has. There is a big size advantage for the red against the white. And it's going to be, they do not give up easy baskets.
There's a 3 from Almanasi, and that goes down. First points of the contest for the Mountaineers.
Streaky shooter, fearless shooter, as you see from deep early in the game. Again, Little Rock is going to contain the paint. App State shoots 31% from 3. If they're going to be knocking those down, I think Little Rock's going to live for that over the course of 40 minutes. Little
Rock snapped a 7-game losing streak against Louisiana. He's one of the 2 seeds in this tournament on the final game of the regular season. 4 to shoot. Great composure. That time by Marko Lukic.
I think you could be in my chair because I was thinking the exact same thing. No panic from Luka as he did a nice little shot fake and then floated it in like there was like 10 seconds on the shot clock. Oh my goodness, from a hard hedge to a block, that is so impressive. I mean, they are suffocating defensively, Little Rock.
Numbers the other way, and Lukic finishes through contact. How about this start from Arkansas Little Rock?
It's all been because of the defense. They forced a tough 3, which was hit, but everything else that's been towards the rim has either been blocked or deterred, defense to offense.
How about Root Manyang coming out past the 3-point line extended?
You're going to see that. If they press, he will be at the point of the press. He hard-hedged on the possession before and then recovered all the way back for that block.
I think that's one of the toughest things about this Little Rock team. They defend so well on the perimeter, but then they've got 2 6'10" guys in the post, and Root Manyang and Nikola Maric, who can protect the rim.
And they complement each other so nice. I mean, Maric is just so good, and there's the athleticism that he showed off of the hard hedge, and nice pass by C.J. White, who's really battled injuries. Good to see him back, playing with confidence and rhythm, but the way the 2 bigs for Little Rock complement each other, You know, you look at Root, he brings a little bit more bounce, and then you look at the other side of things, Nicola, he's got great footwork, great strength, just complement each other nicely.
Root Manyang, 6'10", out of Nashville, Tennessee, was the Sun Belt Conference preseason player of the year, and he may very well be the conference player of the year. Third in the NCAA with 14 double-doubles, and he's fourth in the conference in blocks. Already has one tonight. Really tough shot thrown up there by James Lewis Jr.
His presence is felt every possession on the defensive end, and really Little Rock, who's pushing the pace, and I think they're trying to get some confidence with these guards early.
They've made 4 of 5 field goals. Here's Adrian Delph knocking down a 3 from the corner.
And if there's one guy on App State that I think they should always be aware of, that's Delph. Delph is their most consistent scorer on every level, from 2-point land and 3-point land, a 36% shooter in conference play.
Foul off the ball. It'll go against Little Rock. Ben Coupet Jr. tagged with his first. You know, the interesting thing, Ben, when you look at this App State team, they're a group that's lost 6 of their last 7 games. They had a 4-game cancellation in a row in the midst of February due to COVID. Players walled up in hotels, quarantined, no access to weights, no access to the gym to shoot.
It's funny, when everyone brings that up, it's so hard to even fathom what that was like. You know, living in this once-in-a-century pandemic affects everyone, but App State, they might be catching fire in places that they haven't caught fire before.
3 triples for a team that shoots just above 30% for the season. We're tied at 9.
Again, I think if you're Little Rock, the strategy is protect the paint, continue to have them make those jump shots, but an encouraging sign nonetheless for the Mountaineers.
Marich, defended by Donovan Gregory. Coupet Jr. off the side of the rim and out of bounds. Appalachian State making plays from downtown. 3 triples.
You look left, you look right, and it's a 3-pointer. It started with Almanasi, and then you get others involved. Good extra pass. That's what you love to see. Delph's got it, baby.
First Bank and Trust, making banking easier for you. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength. Levy recognition solutions that elevate performance. And by Crystal Clear Imaging, real print solutions, real big results. A big run for Appalachian State, 6-0. All 9 of their points have come from 3-point land.
And Matt, it was funny, it happened so fast. I was about to bring up the fact that App State had 2 turnovers and Little Rock had 0. Next thing you know, you look over and it's 2 turnovers for Little Rock, which led to 6 points for App State, points off turnovers. And that has been, as we talked about early in the show, what Little Rock has had issues all year, about 15 turnovers per game in conference play.
And a lot of them, if you talk to head coach Darryl Walker, have been unforced turnovers, which is the biggest frustration for him. It's just that bad pass out of bounds, or perhaps somebody dribbling it off their foot.
And where it hurts right now is they've been live ball turnovers, which usually lead to good shots.
Michael Almanasi hanging in midair and scooping it under the rim. It's an 8-0 run for App State. They lead it by 2. And a foul off the ball against Appalachian State. Here's another look.
I mean, you see this move. This is an athletic. You see Manyang there. You have to make a quick decision. Do I want to get my stuff beat on the backboard, or do I want to finish on the other side? That is not easy to do, to hang and finish with a smooth left hand.
Here's Marich. Somehow got that to drop off the front end. And an unforced error there for Appalachian State, falling over the out-of-bounds line on the inbounds pass and back to Little Rock.
You don't see that every single day, but right now, a little bit of what seemed like a good pace early on has turned into sloppy play offensively, leading for the other team to get some buckets off of turnovers.
Here's Manyang. Gotta go quickly here, down to 5.
There's that live ball turnover again from Little Rock. We'll see what App State does with it. Good ball movement.
And a foul on Manyang out beyond the 3-point line.
And that is what he does best. Donovan Gregory is a downhill slasher. A nice hesitation, and he got Manyang to relax just for that split second, and then as he hesitate and went, Manyang put those hands in there and got the foul.
Well, Donovan Gregory, as he heads to the bench, a guy who's just exploded this year. 11 points per game after averaging less than 2 last year.
Yeah, he really has found a niche within this team, and that's just to be around the rim. He does it on the offensive glass at times, but a lot of what he does is he finds gaps downhill.
Here's the kick out to Justin Forrest. Tipped out of bounds and back to Little Rock.
At that point, I thought Justin Forrest's shot was going in just because the hot start for App State from 3-point land.
Both of Little Rock's 6'10" post players are in. Here's the double on Marich. Root Manyang on the right block. They have been unable to get him an entry pass over the last few minutes.
Another live ball turnover. Andrich there.
That's the 4th turnover of the first half. And Adrian Delph dribbles it back out. A 3 from the corner, off the mark. Great rebound, ripped down by Duhart. Second chance here for App State.
That is a tough one.
Step back 3, nothing but nylon.
Hey, but when you're feeling it, you are feeling it. 2 threes early for Delph. Make it his 3rd triple early in the game. I'm speechless because when I thought this game would go down, I didn't think it would be from the perimeter.
9 of App State's 14 points from Adrian Delph, and there's Root Manyang with the response. Here is Delph.
A lot of contact there.
And Forrest draws the foul. And I believe it'll go against Nikola Marich. Just the 3rd team foul.
And what I liked about that possession from Appalachian State was the way they got into the paint and then worked off of 2 feet. Again, we've seen what the shot blocking capabilities are from Little Rock. And when you get in the paint, you got to come to a stop. You got to shot fake. You got to pass fake. And you got to use that penetration to collapse the defense and kick it out. And that led to a scramble situation, using a ball fake, drawing contact. Now can you finish from the free throw line?
Justin Forrest will head to the free throw line for 2 shots. The senior from Decatur, Georgia. He has spent all 4 seasons with Appalachian State, kind of helping Dustin Kearns and his staff last year with the transition. Dustin Kearns, of course, in his 2nd season and in the midst of just turning the culture around.
And it doesn't happen overnight, and you have to have guys when you come in as a head coach that you keep, you know. And if you keep them, you need them to believe in what you're preaching, so that way, you know, you can build that culture and keep it going moving forward.
And certainly last year, the proof was in the pudding. 18 wins, the most for the program since the 2009-2010 season. And there are 11 wins in this conference, the most ever since joining the league back in 2014. Lukic off the mark. And an unforced turnover on Deshaun Parker.
Well, Matt, the most talented scorer for the Mountaineers, Adrian Delph. He's been doing it from deep, got going early. When you make 2, you make step backs like that.
Well, we don't just have men's action this weekend in Pensacola. We've also got the women's Sun Belt tournament happening simultaneously at 2 different arenas. First round action got kicked off earlier, so tomorrow, if you want to join us, we will be on the call starting at noon Eastern. Troy and Texas State. That should be a really fantastic matchup. 2 very powerful offensive teams. Meanwhile here, Ben Brust, Appalachian State has come out of the woodwork with 4 threes.
Yeah, and it's been done, again, points off of turnovers. This is the story for Little Rock, as they're 6 of 10 from the field, which is a good percentage. And next thing you know, 9 points off of those turnovers is the big difference. And you usually get good looks from 3 off of live ball turnovers because your guys are scrambling. You're not running to your man. You're just trying to figure out, what do I got to do? And Delph has taken advantage so far.
One of the things that's really hurt this Little Rock team is the fact that Marquise Noel opted out at the beginning of February. And that was part of the reason for that long losing streak. They had a 7-game skid. They broke that on the final day of the regular season against Louisiana. But Darrell Walker has talked about the fact that this team has struggled, Ben, since Noel's departure to find that #1 ball handler.
Yeah, I mean, when you have somebody who is the rock, like, and handles the rock for your team, you don't replace that overnight in the middle of the season. It doesn't happen because you have to build trust in that person. You have to know that person's going to put you in the right position offensively in the half court, make the right decisions in transition. So it definitely has had an effect, but maybe they're building off of that momentum coming off that 7-game skid, getting that win, because they have talent on this team. There is no doubt about it. Little Rock has talent. They've beaten themselves too many times with mental errors.
They've returned so many players from that regular season title from a year ago. Too good to be bounced out in the first round, many would say, including head coach Darrell Walker, who believes this team has the ability to make a deep run and win 4 straight this weekend here in Pensacola.
And they're doing a pretty good job from two-point territory. There's only been 1 field goal made by Appalachian State that hasn't been a 3. You saw it on the last possession. They are relentless. They close gaps. And a nice scoop and score.
How about that off the window from Andrich? Little floater.
A little floater, a little dipsy-do spin with a little flick of the wrist. Well, that's little flick of the wrist. That song was like, what, 10 years
You're
ago?
Dating yourself.
Did I just use a 10-year-ago reference?
We're the same age.
Jeez, you can call me out for my mistakes.
10 on the timer for Appalachian State. There's Xavion Brown going baseline. And it was bounced off the foot of a Texas State player, and it'll stay right here.
Little Rock player, I believe.
You're right.
Isaiah
off
Palermo.
Of Isaiah Palermo, so it'll be App State basketball with 4 on the timer. After all those threes rained in for App State early, they have since gone on a 220 scoring drought, which has allowed Little Rock to regain the lead.
Yeah, I'm looking at Delph right there. Good play out of the timeout.
Delph, a tough fadeaway off the heel. And now here comes Marich.
Looked like they missed Delph a little bit earlier when he had an open look.
Kick out for 3. And that's Marco Lukic from the corner.
Marco Andrich did a great job off of that missed basket, turning that. That's almost like a live ball turnover. When you miss a shot and you're in transition, find your shooters in the corner. Nothing better than a transition 3.
Stifling perimeter defense here from Little Rock. Fields. Wow, rattles around and down.
Nasi, he has that it factor of just finding ways to get the ball in the hoop.
20-19 Trojans.
That is going the other way, folks.
Vasovic was trying to back down in the post. App State slow to get up on an offensive foul.
And that's what you need to do. If you're Isaiah Palermo, and you are in the game, you have to look to attack, but you have to come to a jump stop before you take the charge because you drew that defender. And that means somebody's going to be open. Always try and get in the paint under control.
Forrest, deep two, goes down.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, nothing's working inside because Little Rock is containing the paint, pushing everyone in. Appalachian State not known for their jump shooting, but when you're hot, you're hot. Stick to it until it stops working. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Forrest was 7. App State has made 5 of its last 7, and back the other way, a triple to respond for Little Rock. Here's a 3 from the other side, no. Tied at 22, under 8 to play in the first half. Great feed, dumped down but rejected. Back the other way come the Mountaineers. Delph gives it up to Almanasi. Fields a 3, bang! Justin Forrest in double figures.
Oh, that is an opportunity. If you're App State, you have got to get. They caught a break, another missed layup turned into an odd man opportunity. When you're hot, you're hot.
Almanasi drains a triple.
Who is this Mountaineer team?
The 7th 3 of the game for Appalachian State, and just like that, it's a 6-point lead.
This is a team that shot 31% from 3 throughout the entire conference play. Really struggled, but 7 of 10. Almanasi is just bringing it. So has Justin Forrest, the guards for Appalachian State, giving fits for Little Rock.
Almanasi with 6 points, Forrest with 11. Everybody letting it fly from downtown.
Delph got it going early. Almanasi said, I want a piece of it. Forrest hits it there. Almanasi's going to get a nice pitch back. When you're in rhythm, whew, feels good.
Threes falling all over the place for Appalachian State. 8 in the first half, Ben Brust.
Threes are contagious. Justin Forrest getting it going. 3 of 4 tonight. Then you see a nice little pump fake using the fact that he made one to open himself up again. And that was my favorite. A nice transition find by Donovan Gregory. He hits Almanasi, and man, App State, a team that is not known for that three-point shooting, they're like, hey, I know what Little Rock has inside. We have 8 3-pointers and 9 field goals made. They have made 1 field goal outside of a 3-point shot. And if it's working, keep going to it. But what I will say is how they are getting them are in transition, in rhythm, not forcing too much.
And it's a 6-0 run for App State, which has given them a 6-point lead as Ben Coupette is at the free throw line for Little Rock.
I will say, it does look great and it's fun. Making threes is great. But when you have 8 3-point field goals and only 1 2-point field goal, that is not sustainable over a game that is 40 minutes long. I'm fine with a heat check. I'd love to see a heat check here. Almanasi, Forrest, even Delph, they've all 3 of them been hitting shots. Shoot it.
Delph walled off in the paint. 7 to shoot. Here's Almanasi whipping it down to Delph. Hammer time with the left hand.
And he shows he's more than just a 3-point shooter. He's great in transition finishing, and he showed in the half court that athleticism using the left hand too. What a flush.
Adrian Delph, a man on a mission. 6'3".
Appalachian State knows they have a size disadvantage, which means they're going to double team. That 3 is going to be there. Little Rock struggles to make threes. They're going to have to hit shots like that because that's the right pass out of the double team.
How about another look at this one from the junior?
It was a broken possession, but Almanasi found Delph across the floor off of 2 feet. Hello!
Right into your living room. Adrian
Delph made it seem like, hey, I've done this before.
He's got 11 points on 4 of 6. 5 minutes to play in the first half and a foul underneath.
They listened. We talked about how eight field goals that are threes, 1 field goal that's a 2 is not sustainable. Dunks are a pretty high percentage shot.
No doubt about that. Appalachian State's made their last 3. Meanwhile, Little Rock 0 for 4, and they've really struggled to get the ball into Root Manyang, who's only taken 2 shots in this game.
And one of his field goals that is made has been like a 20-foot jumper from the top of the key. He's not been able to find post position or even get involved in the offensive glass. He's only has 1 rebound for a guy who's a double-double machine.
And an offensive foul, and now a technical has been assessed. A lot of talking back and forth between Little Rock and the officiating crew. You can see Root Manyang here trying to get an explanation. Offensive foul was called on Manyang.
Yeah, see, I don't love that offensive foul. Both players are getting their hands involved, and he's trying to create space. See how it was initiated, but sometimes it's the overreaction. But looks like the technical foul called there on Duhart for the interrogation after.
So an offensive foul on Root Manyang. You can see Darrell Walker chatting things over with his club. Meanwhile, it's Marko Lukic at the free throw line after the technical was assessed to App State's RJ Duhart. A lot going on in that last sequence. Are you surprised that Little Rock has had such an issue getting the ball into the post?
I mean, look, App State, although they are not the tallest team, they play physical. I mean, they are older, experienced, and have guys who have good frames. Look at Delph. Look at that frame of the junior. Despite the fact that he is a guard and can play on the perimeter, he also has a frame that could, get down low. And as you see here, Little Rock changing up their defense, a 3-2 extended man matchup. Again, just a confusing defense to try and mix it up for Appalachian State.
Almanasi tries a 3. Tipped back out. It'll be Delph with a fresh 20. Delph a 3.
All right, there's the heat check. But it comes after a technical foul where you give free points to Little Rock.
Coupette rejected. Deshaun Parker getting up. Forrest on the pull-up, left it way short, and back the other way.
You get in the paint, you got to make sure you throw that shot fake. RJ Duhart got the technical foul, but guess what, Matt? He made up for it with the block on the other end.
There's Root Manyang.
See, if he gets the ball in that position, he has to be more aggressive. Too timid.
Coupette Jr. off the heel and tracked down by Justin Forrest. Forrest on the scoop shot, altered by Manyang. And back the other way we go. Here come the Trojans. Manyang tries a deep 2.
You live with a long 2 right there all day long. If you have Manyang away from the basket shooting jumpers, you're in a good place defensively if you're Appalachian State.
No field goals in the last 3 minutes for Little Rock.
They're gifted those 2 free throws off of that technical foul.
On the kick out, Duhart off the mark.
Yeah, that's definitely. Oh, I don't know about a double foul there. I had Duhart using all of his arms to try and get around Nicola there, but App State, they're feeling it. Little Rock can't buy a bucket.
Here's a look at our championship bracket. Troy and UTA just getting kicked off right after our game. The winner of Troy and UTA will play Coastal Carolina tomorrow. Ben and I will be on the call for that one. We'll also be on the call for Louisiana and South Alabama. The last two spots in the second round will be determined by the end of the night. And we've had some really good games, not just on the men's side, but on the women's side as well. But you talk to all these coaches, Ben, around the league on the men's side, and they discuss just how tightly contested the regular season was this year.
And the overwhelming majority of coaches ultimately say, we're also happy to be playing.
Yeah.
Thinking about no NCAA tournament last year, not everyone got an opportunity to have their conference tournament played. So to almost be 1 year from that sort of date that everything shut down across the world to now playing in March, everyone's just happy to be out there, and they're playing for something. They're playing for an opportunity to play in that big stage that everyone dreams about.
.230 left. 3-point lead for Appalachian State. Root Manyang, a little jumper goes down. 7 points for the 6'10" senior out of Nashville.
I mean, this is a great change of pace right now for Little Rock since they've gone to this extended 1-3-1, 1-2-2. It's really gotten rhythm taken away from Appalachian State.
You know, to your point, Ben, talking about how a lot of conferences didn't get to crown a champion last year, Little Rock came back to this season feeling like they had unfinished business. They won the regular season title with an 11-win improvement, but didn't get a chance to see it through in the tournament due to COVID. And so that's just added some fuel to the fire for Darrell Walker's club coming into the 2021 tournament.
Guess who's won an NBA championship? Darrell
Walker.
So he
with
knows.
Michael Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, Michael didn't do much. It was mostly Darrell. No, but again, anytime you're on a world championship team, he won at the highest level. He's coached in the NBA for a long time, and now he's a collegiate coach here at Little Rock. So he has a winner's mentality. They lost 7 straight before winning 1, and when we talked to him, it sounded like they were 7-1 and not 1-7 in the last games. And I think you need to breed that confidence if you're going to head into tournament play and think you can roll off 4 straight.
Late in the shot clock again. Here's C.J. White giving it up to Manyang. The floater was way too heavy. It'll stay here, and I believe there should be 2 seconds left on the shot clock. The referees will check it.
I actually think you and the referee were on the same page. I saw a referee hold up 2 fingers to the scores table. So if they reset to 20, I don't think. Yeah, they're trying to say 2, not 20, because it did not hit the rim for the 20-second reset.
Got to get a quick one off here if you're the Trojans. Got to get it in bounds first. Manyang, a wild shot, and it's a violation.
I think that hit the white bars behind the basket.
1 point game, 1:22 left in the first.
Both teams really struggling to find the hoop right now. Little Rock 0 of their last 7. Appalachian State 0 of their last 5. I mean, just can't get anything going.
Officials talking over the shot clock violation. And finally, we will play basketball again. Appalachian State ball.
Just telling a quick secret. And watch how Appalachian State has not been able to get the ball in deep. There they did. And that's where Delph has to take that shot, because anytime you get penetration or touch the middle of this zone, look at how they collapse. They collapse so hard on defense, and then that is what happens if you don't come on 2 feet.
Root Manyang saying, "Get out of my house." He's got 2 blocks in the first half. And that right there, Ben, is exactly why Appalachian State has just 2 two-point field goals in this half.
It doesn't matter if Manyang is involved heavily offensively, because what he does to just make people think twice about shooting a shot by the rim. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous.
8 of Appalachian State's 10 made field goals have been beyond the arc, where Root Manyang hasn't come out a whole lot yet tonight, although he will step out from time to time like he did there, forcing a turnover, and back the other way. Tipped back out by Almanasi, and it'll stay with Little Rock.
When we talked to Coach Darrell Walker, it never was about the defense. It's always been about how can they provide offense, and it's guard play. You see, CJ White with the ball right now has 0 points. He struggled. He's been injured. Even when you look at Coupette, he's been very silent in this game. Started to hop but disappeared, but they're going to need guard play.
There's the double team on Lewis. Got an 8-second differential between game and shot clock. Forrest on the drive, somehow muscled it up, and then ties up Manyang, but a foul is called, and Root Manyang is headed to the free throw line.
I have a hint for Appalachian State. When you drive against Little Rock, come to 2 feet. Get to 2 feet, throw a shot fake, and then take the contact and go to the free throw line. If you try and jump with Little Rock, A, they're going to block it, or B, they're going to go straight up, vertical, not foul you, just like that last play. Justin Forrest, great job getting penetration into that matchup zone, but not a good job with execution towards the rim.
Shot clock turned off. App State with a 1-point lead. We've seen a 6-0 run from Little Rock to close out the half. Almanasi gives it up to Delph with 2. On the step back. Can't beat the buzzer, and it's a 1-point lead as we head into the halftime break. Little Rock on a 6-0 run. Interesting first half.
To say the least. Appalachian State not known for their three-point shooting. Well, guess what? They had 10 field goals, 8 of which were three-pointers. I mean, Little Rock has to find a way to get some offense going from the outside, from the guard play, because right now it's all bigs. And Appalachian State, can they continue the hot shooting?
1-point lead for the Mountaineers as we head to halftime in Pensacola. Good one going on over on ESPN Plus between Troy and UTA, the 6th seed, with a lead on the 3rd seed out of the West. University of Texas at Arlington. The winner of that one will take on Coastal tomorrow. Ben and I will have that kicking off at 8:30 Eastern time. Meanwhile, right here, the second half should be pretty tight. 1-point game between App State and Little Rock. The winner gets Texas State. Fresh off a regular season championship, in spite of the fact that Terrence Johnson missed the last 3 games with COVID. Whoever Texas State gets to play should be a fun matchup. We'll have the second half next.
Just when you thought it couldn't get any better than
Reason is because they hit 8 triples from downtown.
Only
Ben.
2 2-point field goals. Adrian Delph, he got him going early. Then Justin Forrest, the senior, said, I want a piece of that action. Hits one there, uses the shot fake as they start extending. And then Michael Almanasi in transition off a turnover. The story of the game for Appalachian State, hitting threes in transition. And for Little Rock, you're not going to see many three-pointers made. But the easiest basket for Manyang right there, he had an interesting first half. A great look from CJ White in transition there. Everything for Little Rock was really kind of tough to come in terms of points in this first half. And there you go, Manyang again, extended away from the hoop. I want to see Manyang be the Manyang that is 3rd in the NCAA in double-doubles. Right now, only with 7 points and 3 rebounds, and really being pushed away from the basket.
Little Rock has made 12 field goals, 1 of those from downtown, the rest inside the three-point arc, but you're absolutely right. Their post players really have been a non-factor offensively. Now, Manyang, of course, has 7 points, but
I mean, Nikola Maric, 0 points in the first half. I mean,
and he only took 1 shot attempt.
I will give credit to Appalachian State. When Maric got the ball, it was an immediate double team every single time, and that's good game planning. Make Little Rock knock down shots from the perimeter.
Second foul on Adrian Delph as we get the second half started here from Pensacola State College, one of 2 sites for the men's and women's Sun Belt Tournament Championship. The other is the Pensacola Bay Center, where the final will be played on Monday night on ESPN2. Offensive foul.
And not what you want to see right off the gate here in the second half for Nikola Maric. I believe that should be his 3rd foul. Could send him to the bench pretty early, or at this point, try and get some rhythm and roll the dice.
Gregory on the kick out, and that's a triple, picking up right where they left off, the 9th three of the contest.
Is what Donovan does. Gregory Donovan finding the seam downhill. Michael Almanasi is a capable three-point shooter, and your easiest threes are ones that come from inside out. But there's Manyang finally showing it that he can do it around the rim. Settled for too many jump shots in the first half.
And here he is playing at the spear of the defense. A little 3-2 zone here from Arkansas Little Rock.
And as you see, the 3 on the top are the 3 biggest players. The guards are working the backside of that zone. It's almost impossible to find a passing angle if you're Appalachian State. Yeah, that ain't gonna work.
Really speaks to the athleticism of their post players. Root Manyang 6'10", Maric 6'10", but they're hanging with these App State guards. Here's a 2-on-1, and Almanasi now in double figures, finishing in transition.
Almanasi's played a really nice game. He also has 3 assists and only 1 turnover, so I think he's played with a really nice rhythm to his game. At times he could try and do too much, but good poke away, and another live ball turnover, which leads to a slamma-jamma.
Donovan Gregory ripping down the rim. And a little 4-0 run here for App State.
That's what Donovan Gregory does. Again, earlier in this second half, what did he do? He found a gap, passed it to Almanasi, got others involved. Well, guess what? You get rewarded when you give others the ball. Nice, easy transition dunk. I don't know why I say easy. It probably wasn't easy, but he made it look easy.
Here's a 3-on-3, pulled back out momentarily by Forrest, then saved on the baseline.
And that's the shot you want if you're Appalachian State. CJ White has struggled from deep, 20% in conference play, only 30% from the field. And that wasn't right even at the three-point line. That was extended beyond the three-point line. You'll live with that and try and take advantage here in the half court.
Gregory on the pull-up. In and out. Rebound, CJ White. A 3 from the top of the key.
Yeah.
Takes a bounce and dips on down.
Hey,
Ben Coupette Jr.
Anytime you get a roll like that, you just say shooter's touch, even if you didn't think it was going in.
He's in double figures now with 11. 4 for 8 from the floor.
Quiet 11 there.
Donovan Gregory lays it in.
When we talk about Little Rock and their size advantage, there's one guy that I think on Appalachian State that is not scared at all, and that's Donovan Gregory. He has continued to find ways to attack the gaps. Nice finish there.
First points of the contest. He has 4 assists, 3 rebounds. And here's Coupette Jr.
There he is
Donovan
again.
Gregory on the defensive side.
Active ball player, folks. He is one of my favorite to watch on this Appalachian State team because of his activity, not just on the defensive end, but look at this explosion off the turnover. We saw Little Rock, they turn it over. Donovan Gregory, he'll make you pay.
Back to the action here in Pensacola, Florida. Nearly 5 minutes gone in the second half. Appalachian State, 9 made threes. They are shooting 45% from downtown. And Donovan Gregory has sort of been the unsung hero of this game for Appalachian State. Only 2 points, but he's been huge defensively to go along with 4 rebounds and 3 assists.
Yeah, I think that's where you hit it on the head as we get a shot clock violation out of that timeout. It was just, in my opinion, unacceptable when you have time to draw something up. But Donovan Gregory on the defensive end, you mentioned it, he's not scared of the height and even the physical stature of those guys down low, Marich and Manyang. He brings it to him. And if anything, he might be a mismatch, as weird as that sounds, on the offensive end for Little Rock. See him trying to work the middle because they have all 3 of those bigs, and if he can get the ball against those guards who are on the backside of their zone, that could be an advantage.
Manyang getting into the cookie jar, and that forces a turnover into the hands of Ben Coupet Jr.
He's got deep position. You got to touch him. Good tap out, but you got to find Marich earlier.
Marich battling again.
That's what he does.
And finally gets his first basket of the contest at the 15:05 mark of the second half.
He's working all game long to try and get deep post position. If you get that deep post position, it eliminates the opportunity for the defense to have time to double team because they have to help so far deep.
How do you break this zone with 3 post players up top?
You do that. You absolutely have to hit the middle, and I like Donovan Gregory in the middle of that. You have to collapse the defense and knock down shots. It's a good look.
It's short. Almanasi on the second chance.
That is a good possession, but we're starting to see what the percentages would tell us about Appalachian State. Is they're not a 8 of 16 and 1/2 3-point shooting team. They're a 30% shooting team.
Marich, touch pass out to Manyang. No, second opportunity. You betcha. And here come the Trojans. Back-to-back baskets, and it's back to 1.
Welcome to Sun Belt basketball. As soon as you think one team has momentum, and a great coaching adjustment, I think, by Darrell Walker here, going to this zone in which you see how extended it is making Appalachian State work for everything. Passing angles, shots, I mean, almost kind of a bailout there, but I like the way this defense is going. Marich getting position. You see just using good footwork, good strength. You can use the right, you can use left, and the touch pass to Manyang. Missed the first one, but nothing wrong with trying to get to a double-double by missing the first and finishing the second.
Maybe padding the stats a little bit.
Well, he's struggling on the rebound front. I believe that's only his 4th on the game, so you got to get to 10 somehow.
Is 3rd in the NCAA with 14 double-doubles. Of course, in our earlier matchup in the first round, his freshman counterpart,
Norchad Omier,
with his 15th double-double of the season, the only freshman in the country averaging a double-double this year.
And he had 18 rebounds. It was an absolutely ridiculous performance in class. It was predictable, too. Any shot that came off the rim, I think, Matt, you were probably just like, and Omier grabs another rebound.
Yes, especially on a missed free throw.
Very used to that.
Nobody else grabbing the basketball.
Yeah, there was nobody. Very used to that here with Little Rock with Manyang.
Back to a 3-point lead.
Good roll, replace, seal. That's good basketball right there from Little Rock. It's a missed shot, but good basketball nonetheless.
Back the other way. Here comes Adrian Delph. 2:30 scoring drought for Appalachian State. Forrest into the corner. Manyang looking for a flash in the post from Coupet Jr.
That is, you hear them yelling 3 seconds, and the referee's gonna listen. Not very often do you hear the bench get the referee to make a call, but felt like 4 seconds that Coupette was in the lane.
One of the interesting things coming into this game was Dustin Kearns for Appalachian State kind of comparing Little Rock to the 1995 Houston Rockets, who always played through Akeem Olajuwon. Well, he said Little Rock's similar in that they always play through Marich, and they've tried to, but Appalachian State has shut that down, and that's what's allowed them to maintain this lead in spite of the fact that they just have not been able to make those two-point shots nor get the two-point shots because of the tall post players underneath for Little Rock.
And you're seeing what Little Rock has in terms of an opportunity with Marich out of the game. The defense is still, I mean, they bring in another guy who's got such size and length that it doesn't hurt the zone on defense. But you have to find offense outside of Marich because it's so unfamiliar not to touch the post every time down inside out.
Lukic off the mark, crashing in. Manyang gets the second chance, and 2 shots coming for Root Manyang when we come right back. 3-point game, 11:53 left. The Sun Belt Championship is brought to you by First Bank and Trust, making banking easier for you. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength. Levy Recognition solutions that elevate performance. And by Crystal Clear Imaging, real print solutions, real big results. The big results have come from downtown for Appalachian State. 9 made threes in this game. They're shooting 38% from distance, and yet we are still in a one-possession game. And Root Manyang at the line, 2 shots coming for Little Rock, and a chance to make it a 1-point game. Manyang, a 60% free throw shooter. And tonight has 12 points and 6 rebounds. Has been much more active in the second half, both defensively and on the offensive side.
And it's so quiet in that gym, just hearing us speak, you might be able to hear it. But again, Manyang, like you mentioned, getting more involved by the rim. In the first half, everything was pushed away from the rim. He was settling for too many jump shots. I wouldn't be surprised here if now with Marich back in, if they continue to just find ways to go down low, as Appalachian State, they made their money from 3 in the first half, but they're 1 of 5 from 3 in the second half. So RJ Duhart
doubled over on the right side of the hoop.
He's good, according to everyone in the gym that we can hear.
We, of course, coming to you from a studio many miles away from Pensacola, Florida. But RJ Duhart has now gone to the bench. We'll try to get you an update as the game wears along. A foul on the drive.
Both teams in the bonus for the rest of this half.
Long way to go here with free throws.
Yeah, and 2 teams that, I don't know if the referees are aware, but somebody should let them know. Unless that was out of bounds.
Could have been. Here's a 3 from the corner. Off the mark, tipped around by Manyang, and he gives it back to Little Rock.
App State now 1 of 6 in the second half. That zone that Coach Walker has gone to has really, really made Appalachian State work for everything and settle for some threes that aren't in rhythm like they were in the first half. And I love the fact that they're going high-low with Marich and Manyang.
Manyang tips it back out in a second chance. Here's a 3 from Coupette Jr.
They should go back to that every single time down the floor. Instead of having Marich in the low post, they had Marich in the high post, getting Manyang, who looks to have the mismatch down low.
Nasi gives it up to Forrest. Extra pass batted around, and Lewis Jr. will draw a foul.
That's how you got to do. You got to grab that with two hands, especially with all those Little Rock bodies around you. Grab it with two, go up strong, force a foul on Magnan.
Third foul on Root Magnan was still 10:30 left in the second half. Both teams shooting free throws the rest of the way. Appalachian State leads the Sun Belt in free throw shooting as a team, nearly 75% from the stripe this year.
No announcer jinx there, as the big fella, James Lewis Jr., I think needs to have a bigger impact. You know, in some ways he has. I think he's done a great job in the low post on defense. But if he can find some gaps offensively, as the big guys on Little Rock are extended in that zone, if he can find some gaps down low, he can be effective. You see him battling. It's been his job. Get to Marich and make it tough.
Zip pass down to Manyang, wrestling it away from Donovan Gregory and laying it in. 15 points for Manyang.
At this point, I think Marich knows every time he touches the ball, people are going to collapse to him. And now that's his third assist, and he's had some good passes out of the double team. And finally, Appalachian State, Justin Forrest hits his fourth three of the game.
14 points for Forrest. Right in line with his season average.
As well as his field goal percentages as well. He's always been a volume scorer for this Appalachian State team. He, in conference play, shot 37% from the field, only 31% from three. But he is streaky in that matter.
Forrest, a guy who now has had 7 straight games in double figures, averaging 17 points per game over that stretch after averaging less than 10 through the first 15 games of the season, has really come on strong lately and at the right time for Dustin Kearns and his Mountaineers team. They lead it by 4 under 10 to play.
Trying to get Marich here in the post. He's got a seal.
Andrich a 3. Off the front end, Coupet Jr. draws some contact, no call. And then Manyang sticks his hands in, and that's the 4th foul on Root Manyang.
It's like me when I see candy around. You just couldn't help yourself. You just want to reach for it. There's no need. You don't need it. You had a full meal. You already had some. Get back on the defensive end and get in position. Now this is a tough spot for Little Rock as he plays 30-plus minutes a game. Picking up that foul was just unnecessary.
What candy would you get caught reaching for, Ben?
Reese's.
Same.
Always.
The
it
best.
Always gets me. It was the Hearts and Valentine.
Yep.
It was the egg and Easter time.
Yeah.
Gets me every time.
The egg it just tastes different.
It does.
It just hits different.
From
and
three,
Appalachian
always.
State, 11 threes in the contest. Adrian Delph with 14.
Again, Delph and Forrest have not done it the most efficient way, but they've done it when it's mattered most. Nobody's really been efficient in this game, so as long as you can hit a couple buckets, everything matters.
Coupet Jr., no. Late whistle. I believe it'll go against Adrian Delph. Just his 2nd foul. But Coupet Jr. will get 2 shots.
You put those Reese's in the freezer?
Oh, 100%.
Okay, just want to make sure. I mean, I feel like we have something going here. We're on the same page for a lot of things, but that's the most important thing. It's got to be frozen.
I'm with you.
Here we are again. I feel like, Matt, you and I, anytime we're together, a 7-point lead happens, and this is an important time.
Yeah.
8 minutes left in the second half. 7-point game. Little Rock at the line. Coupet missed the first, but again, it's not about this next free throw. It's about the defensive possession on the other end. Do they get a stop, and can they get a stop that turns defense into offense? Because that's how they need to do it. You hear the coaches on the sideline. Get a stop. Need a stop.
Hasn't been much that separated these teams tonight.
I mean, look how
the three-point shooting, which is why we've seen this 3-2 zone for the better part of this entire second half as Forrest heaves a three and buries it from downtown. Justin Forrest, how do you do?
And just fascinating right now to see how this Appalachian State team has done it to Little Rock. They have 11 threes and 16 field goals, only 5 in the paint. Take what it's given to you. Justin Forrest, he's a senior. This is your time. Shine, baby.
App State has had since the first half, and Little Rock partner just 1 for their last 7 from the floor.
Critical out of a timeout that Coach Walker drew something up to get Marich involved in space where he has room to operate.
Marich still has only attempted 3 shots in this game.
Trying to seal. I mean, you got to give credit here. I mean, James Lewis Jr. has done a great job fighting with Marich all day long, and they settle for a long 2.
Almanasi pushing the pace. Forrest on the step back, a little wiggle, and left it short. Manyang ripping down the rebound.
I get it. Justin Forrest has hit a couple of big shots for Appalachian State, but when you have the ball up 9 in this portion of the second half, every possession matters.
The double on Marich, and the kick out to Lukic, no good. Rebound tipped into the hands of James Lewis Jr.
James Lewis Jr. only 2 points on the night. That's his 3rd rebound, but again, 27 minutes, and it's just been a battle for him on the defensive end against Nikola Marich.
Lukic gives it up to Manyang, and the big fella.
Just making us all feel bad how we can barely touch the net.
Barely had to jump to put that down. 6'10".
Pass.
Home run pass rejected by Lukic.
You had your opportunity in the full court. You have a lead here. If you're Appalachian State, you work the clock, try and get a good shot. As you see, Little Rock has moved out of that zone.
Four seconds to shoot, gotta go quickly. Delph a step back. Collected by Coupette.
It was defense to offense that got them the points. Marich down low, finally a one-on-one opportunity. Uses the footwork, touch, can't get it to go.
And he's behind the play after falling down. Almanasi with numbers, but he'll pull it back out.
Again, I'll say it. JLJ, James Lewis Jr. walling up, using his body. Good frame, strong frame, good base. Forrest wants to continue his streak.
Forrest now with 19 points.
You can hear it in the gym. The tides are turning. Little Rock is back against the wall right now. Haven't been able to find offense in the half court. Again, their last bucket, they're one of their last 8. It was off of a turnover. The half court has been a struggle. Here's the double team. Another good, that's the right play.
A 3-point shot won't go down. Tipped out by Manyang. Coast to coast, ripped away.
I love Donovan Gregory. I love his passion. I love the way he plays just in transition. He saw a Little Rock player slam the ball. It doesn't matter. Focus on what you need to focus on, and that's 2 free throws. Frustration from Little Rock. App State trying to take control late here in the second half.
All right, Mountaineers, if you're over there, you can make some noise. Little Rock, Arkansas, get the house tonight. We can hear you scream. He doesn't need his name up in lights. He just wants to be heard, whether it's
this Fort Minor?
Yeah.
Back to the action here in Pensacola, Florida. Wrapping up the end of the first day of both the men's and women's tournaments. Two different arenas, Pensacola Bay Center and right here at Hartselle Arena on the campus of Pensacola State College. And Donovan Gregory at the line, misses the first end, trying to make it a double-digit lead for App State with 5.5 minutes left.
It's hard to come back from a double-digit lead with the amount of time that's left with the poor three-point shooting so far from Little Rock. Just 2 of 10. They have the size, obviously, down low, but going to need some points quick because points have been hard to come by.
Yeah, Little Rock 1 for their last 9 from the floor. Coupette Jr. on the drive. Strong take off the window, and here comes the full court pressure from the Trojans.
You take a layup if you have it. If you don't have a layup, you do exactly this. You work the clock.
Unforced error gives it back to Little Rock.
This is another one of those critical possessions. I sound like a broken record, but 8 points, 3-possession game. 47 points have been scored, 40% from the field, 20% from 3. You haven't been able to get much going with your best offensive player who's got the ball right now because they've just been doing this, forcing him away from the basket with those double teams.
Andrich, a floater, too heavy, tipped back around. Manyang picks it up. Marich through traffic. Back-to-back baskets for Little Rock. Back to a 2-possession game.
We'll see Manyang. He moves so well, they put him at the top of this press.
Got to get it over the timer quickly.
With 1 second to spare.
Almanasi will pull it back out with 15 to shoot.
Oh, great hands by Coupette. And this is what that pressure does. Now you're in a situation where there's no play and it's a one-on-one play late in the shot clock.
Brown driving, just beats the buzzer, and we'll head to the line when we come back. Still fight left in these Little Rock Trojans.
Yeah, and really it's been tough to find baskets, but Lukic just finding the seam, getting it done.
It's a 6-point game, under 4 minutes to play here at Hartselle Arena on the campus of Pensacola State College. The winner of this one will have a date with the Louisiana Ragin' Cajuns. Check that, the Coastal Carolina.
Check that, the Texas State.
The Texas State Bobcats. I need to look at the tournament bracket one more time. Game 4 of the day has got me a little bit out of sorts.
And trust me, each of these teams, as much as they've struggled to score the ball, Texas State is the best defensive team in the Sun Belt. First in conference play in points allowed. It's going to be if it's a struggle now, it's going to be a struggle then.
No struggles on the back end of that free throw trip. 56-49. Hang on to your hats, folks. We got 3:50 left in this second to last first round matchup. Troy trying to hang on against University of Texas Arlington, and a foul on the pass back out. We'll keep it right here with 20 on the timer. Appalachian State no field goals for the last 2.5 minutes. And another whistle. Clock issue. We will reset it. And Little Rock will get it back out of bounds.
I'll tell you what, I appreciate how these officials have handled the clock reviews. They haven't stopped every time to go to the monitor to check how official it needs to be. They're using their internal clock. And I trust all of their internal clocks that it should be 3:32 instead of 3:35. Plus, I know you got a bet.
We got to be back here tomorrow, my man. 4 more games on the slate, men's and women's. Maric with the left-hand kiss off the window.
The easiest bucket he's had all night. He's still working. You have to give him credit. There are some numbers here. Good break by Justin Forrest, but at this point, no reason to rush anything.
Work up all that shot clock. Forrest will pull it back out. Defended tightly by Lukic.
Watch Delph here. Like he was getting, ooh, nice move.
Forrest on the
Forrest.
step through, reversing it off the glass.
His senior has came to play, and it feels like even though his percentage tonight hasn't been the greatest from the field, in moments where they've needed a bucket most, he has come through.
Manyang off the back iron.
You see the Little Rock bench, some arms being thrown in disgust. Not exactly the shot you want as time is ticking away, as the season is ticking away for Little Rock.
Delph threading it to Gregory. Andrich.
And a charge going the other way. I mean, I have to. A tip of the cap. I'm not wearing a hat right now, but if I would, I would take it off. The job that James Lewis Jr. has done defensively tonight, it's been absolutely remarkable. The way he's guarded Nikola Maric, the way he picked up that charge there. I mean, he's not going to show up big in the box score, but in terms of making plays, winning plays for his team, he has done so.
Here's Adrian Delph, 3-on-2, decides to pull it back out. Time is on the side of the App State Mountaineers.
Ooh, there it is.
Almanacci
Oh!
downtown.
I'm out of my
it
seat
down.
right now. That is a jam by Donovan Gregory. Do we get 2 Hercules strong plays of the game? I mean, that was unbelievable.
Donovan Gregory's had a couple of strong takes to the cup. Andrich at 3. There's your response from Little Rock, not going away, down 2 possessions.
There's a big shot right there, and you still have Manyang, who is going to disrupt in this full court press.
Almanacci gives it right back to Gregory. 2-hand flush.
And a smart timeout here from Appalachian State. You get the bucket now, you settle things down, you get to set up your half-court defense. Woo! Nikola Maric has had a tough game, an even tougher one there with the exclamation point. Donovan Gregory, 2 dunks, and the game he has played, he's gotten others involved, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, but also getting involved with, I think, all of his points might be from slamming it home.
If you are Little Rock here, you've struggled to shoot the basketball with consistency. Now, they've shot 41%, but they've struggled to get consistent shots. How do you come back here down 8 with 1 minute and 8 seconds left?
At this point, the only player on Little Rock who has made a 3 is Ben Coupette Jr. You put Ben Coupette Jr. on the exact opposite side of Nikola Maric. You hit Maric, they are going to double, and ultimately you just need him to make a shot. He's 2 of 6. Everyone else has missed every 3 they've taken. CJ White has not proven to be a consistent 3-point shooter. Lukic has not been able to hit shots off of those cross-court passes from Maric. I look to Coupette to make a 3.
Coupette hunting for a shot.
There he is.
Here it is from deep. And he's heavy, tipped out of bounds. It'll stay here.
I mean, just look at the attention that Maric has drawn. It's the right look. Maric, again, he's had a tough game, but he's made a lot of the right plays. He's made the right passes. His teammates just have not been able to convert for him.
Dustin Kearns, when he took over the head coaching job last season at Appalachian State, came in and in the first meeting he told his guys, I want everyone in the league to hate playing Appalachian State. He said right now, at the time when he came in, teams don't hate playing us. I think tonight, Little Rock can say we hated playing Appalachian State with the way they've defended in the post.
When you look at the sheer numbers, right? Like if you took away everything and looked at height, at weight, the advantage would be Little Rock. But it wasn't. It really wasn't. And like I mentioned, James Lewis Jr., 2 points, 0 of 3 from the field. They haven't even thrown him a bone in transition to get a dunk. He has been battling all night long with Maric in the post. They have guys that just battle. I mean, you look at Donovan Gregory, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, just getting out in transition, not trying to do too much. But they have some presence where it doesn't matter about this is the old saying, right? It's not about the size of the dog, it's about the fight in the dog. And the fight in the dog is what Appalachian State has.
This is if they can hang on, another notch in the belt for Dustin Kearns and this program that is on the rebound. Again, 18 wins last year for Appalachian State. That was the most in over a decade. And now they're looking to make a run here in the Sun Belt Tournament after losing 6 of their final 7 regular season games, dealing with 4 COVID-canceled games, a quarantine in a hotel. They weren't in the gym. They weren't in the weight room. And yet here they are, 54 seconds away from coming away with a W. But you have got to admire the fight from Little Rock as Lukic is headed to the free throw line.
Yeah, and if you're Appalachian State, I know Almanasi tried to show that he did not foul, but you don't give any reason to stop the clock and give Little Rock an opportunity to make free throws without that clock moving.
Let alone fouling an 80% free throw shooter in Marko Lukic, the sophomore from Belgrade, Serbia.
And he just really hasn't been able to find his rhythm from outside of, around the rim. He's done a nice job finishing, but again, I talk about Maric and how he's made those nice cross-court passes. Lukic has been the recipient of 3 of those, and he put up 3 threes and hasn't been able to knock them down, and that's carried over to the free throw line.
Makes the second, and here comes the full court pressure.
Do not envy Michael Almanasi here, who's got to take the ball out with Manyang just following him all across this baseline.
The 6'10" senior from Nashville. Ball gets back into the hands of Almanasi. And before all of this, the officials recognized an issue with the clock, which we have dealt with a lot today.
Didn't I give props for not having to go to the monitor for the clock?
Well, now we're inside a minute.
Yeah, no, at this point, this is March basketball. You need to make sure that everything is right. Every second matters, because at the end of the day, this is only a 7-point game, and I've seen crazier things happen. I've seen teams come back down 12 with a minute left, 13. You got to make sure you get everything right here when it comes to the officiating and the clock.
So the officiating crew talking it over. Our officials tonight, Orlandis Poole, Rob Rourke, and Gerald Williams. They've called a really good basketball game. They've dealt with a lot of clock malfunctions. One of 2 arenas being used this weekend in Pensacola. As we take a look at the championship bracket brought to you by First Bank and Trust. Troy running away with it against UTA. What an upset from the Troy Trojans. If they can hang on, they will take on Coastal Carolina tomorrow. Ben Brust and I will have that one at 8:30 p.m. The winner of this will get regular season champ Texas State in our nightcap 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN+.
I tell you what, like I mentioned earlier, Texas State is tenacious defensively. Little Rock, we've seen what they can do. The continuity and the connectivity of Texas State on the defensive end, they bring it every single night.
That game will be played at the Pensacola Bay Center, just across town. Kicking off our coverage tomorrow, Louisiana and South Alabama. We'll have that one right back here at Hartselle Arena on the campus of Pensacola State College, followed immediately by Georgia State and Arkansas State. And of course, Texas State and Georgia State have both won at least 6 games in a row coming into this postseason. So the clock issue has been figured out. Full court pressure, 51.7 left, and a 7-point basketball game.
As soon as we felt like we were getting ready to go, psych.
Another whistle on the floor.
I mean, just look at Manyang on that baseline.
Towering over Almanasi.
And Almanasi's doing the right thing. He can go as far back as he wants, and he's using all that space to try and create an angle for the pass. Ooh.
Almanasi just whipping it away. And now comes the chase. When to foul for Little Rock. Manyang tried it.
And that would have been his 5th. At this point, with 10 seconds left, you have to play the possession out.
Forrest somehow gets it to fall, and that might just do it for Appalachian State.
It was either foul right away or you're trying to go with the strategy of get a stop. But I think in that situation, if you don't get a steal within the first 10 seconds, you have to foul and extend the game, because now it's just about too late. It's a 3-possession game with 18 seconds left.
It looked like they tried to foul, but it wasn't enough for the officials to actually make the call.
And I like when the officials actually call a foul when it is a foul, not the I'm anticipating that a team is going to foul and blow the whistle. And you know what? Justin Forrest was happy about it because he's got 23 points.
Huge night for Justin Forrest. 1 point away from tying his season high, which he set against Georgia Southern earlier in February. And there it is. He's tied his season high with 24 in a must-win game. And how about this move?
Again, you saw the tap on Manyang, but good patience. He was dribbling around for a while. I was getting dizzy watching him. Next thing you know, he does a nice Euro step under control, floats it up, and can't convert on that. But an 8-point game, this clock's winding fast. It has to be a 3-ball. 2s aren't going to do it.
And a turnover leads to another foul the other way. It'll be Almanasi going to the free throw line. And it will be Appalachian State advancing to the second round of the Sun Belt Conference Tournament. Almanasi, a big reason for it. How about this stat line? 13 points, 7 boards, 7 assists.
Yeah, I've been very impressed with the way that Appalachian State shared the ball, and they had to, with the way Little Rock was playing defense, you know, whether it was the man-to-man that was aggressive and extended in the first half to the matchup zone where they had, you know, Manyang and Marich out front of that half-court defense. They had to work the ball, they had to get in seams, and they had to kick it out for 3-point shots. And Almanasi, Donovan Gregory, great job by, you know, 2 guys finding seams and finding shooters.
Double-digit lead. Coupet Jr. lets it fly and knocks it down. And we'll finish with a 7-point victory for Appalachian State. It wasn't easy. It was a slugfest between 2 teams that really locked down defensively, but ultimately Appalachian State wins out with 12. Ben Brust, 12 made threes.
Yeah, well above their average in makes in terms of attempts, and well above their average from percentage. Great job all around from Appalachian State, getting different guys involved.
App State, a date with the regular season champ Texas State Bobcats tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern on ESPN+. Ben Brust Josh Littledon, John, Matt Schumacher. We'll see you later from Pensacola, Florida.